Hey guys, welcome back. Now, with 2023 being a turbulent year for stocks and crypto, it can be hard to know what to do. With inverted yield curves, ever-increasing interest rates, high inflation, and the Fed tightening the money supply, it can all get very confusing. Well, it's in times like these that it's good to take a step back and check in with the billionaire super investors and see what are they doing with their own money. And so in this video, we're going to be covering the latest noteworthy moves of 5 super investors: Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, Bill Gates, Cathie Wood, and Michael Burry. And we'll take a look at their biggest buys, their biggest sells for the latest data we have, which is Q2, and then we'll see are they bullish or bearish. So, starting with arguably the world's greatest investor, Warren Buffett, who is still going strong at a crazy 92 years young. So, what are the latest moves of Mr. Buffett? And so here is the latest portfolio of Warren Buffett, and the period we are looking at is Q2, as this is the latest data that we have, and his portfolio is made up of a huge $348 billion and almost 50 different positions. And just taking a scan, we can see not an awful lot of movement for this quarter. So starting with his biggest buys, let's take a look. And let's just change it to percentage of portfolio so we can see the biggest moves. And for me, anything less than 1% really is just chipping away and more like house cleaning. There's no major moves. Now, historically at previous quarters, you can see sometimes he does make some big moves, like a 5% change to the portfolio. This would be a major move by Mr. Buffett, where he really ramped up Chevron. So historically, anything less than 1%, although it's still billions of dollars, it's more like cleaning up the portfolio instead of making major moves, like in Q1 2022. So the biggest one was just adding a small amount to Occidental Petroleum. So let's just take a quick look at this stock, and he first acquired this in Q1 2022. So you can see, as long as he bought it at the beginning of Q1, this has been a very good stock. He's probably up about 30%. But ever since then, it's pretty much gone sideways. So anyone who's copied Warren Buffett, if you bought at the highs, then you're actually probably down a little bit as it's chopped sideways. And then he did actually take out a brand new position, DHI. And D.H. Horton is a home construction company in the US. And in fact, it's the largest home builder by volume in the United States. And taking a look at this stock chart, remember, we're looking at data from Q2. So that's from April. And you can see if he's bought beginning of April, then this has been a very big winner. Best case, at one point, he's up about 35%. However, depending when he bought, he's going to be up 15%, 5%, 10%, although with the S&P, it has come down lately. However, likely a good winner for Mr. Buffett. And when it comes to the biggest sells, we can see that the biggest sell is Activision Blizzard. And this is a bit of a controversial stock right now, as Microsoft has been trying to acquire them. However, it's the UK that's been blocking the deal. So I think that Mr. Buffett doesn't really want to take the risk and has massively reduced his position by 70%. And finally, do we think Mr. Buffett is bullish or bearish right now? Well, if we look at the buys, not a lot of buying going on and quite a small percentage. And if we look at the sells, not only is there more selling than buying, it was also a bigger percentage of the portfolio. So I would say Mr. Buffett would be in the bearish camp right now. Next up, we have Ray Dalio's company, Bridgewater Associates. And this is the largest, most successful hedge fund in the US. And this is a massive $16 billion portfolio, and it's made up of over 700 positions. So a monster portfolio. So let's take a look at the biggest buys and sells. So number one position is IVV, and they increased this position by 10%, and IVV is BlackRock's S&P 500. So a nice, safe and sturdy position there. And the S&P this year has had an excellent year, surprising many people. Now, what do we see? A reduction in Johnson & Johnson, and let's just take a look at the biggest ones. So a 30% increase in PDD, and PDD is Pinduoduo. This is the Chinese online retailer. So Ray Dalio certainly isn't put off by China, and historically has always been quite a big fan. And if we take a look at the stock price, and they will have ramped this up some point in Q2. So if this was early Q2, then if they've bought at these prices, then this has been a winner, probably up anywhere around 20%. Although similar to the US, it has been pulling back recently. So far, this is looking good for Ray Dalio. Next noteworthy move, we have a 50% increase in MRK, and this is Merck & Co., the American pharmaceutical company. However, if we look at the 1-year stock chart, we can pretty much see this has been chopping sideways ever since about December 2022. So not a lot of price action going on with Merck. And then equally a massive 46% reduction in Meta. And Meta, when it did rebrand, we saw they had this epic crash where it went down 75%. So he's sold out of this in Q2. So this is going to be from April. So if he's sold out early Q2, then he's missed out on a lot of the gains. And is Ray Dalio more bullish or bearish right now? Well, just taking a look at the top 25 positions, you'll notice that green, which is buying, there's been 10 green positions versus 15 reducing or selling positions. So Ray Dalio's company, Bridgewater, similar to Warren Buffett, is more bearish than bullish right now. Moving on to Bill Gates. And this is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Trust, and it's a portfolio of $42 billion made up of 23 positions. And so biggest buys for the quarter, and it was Berkshire Hathaway, and you can see as a percentage of the portfolio this is over 4%, so a significant buy in Warren Buffett's company. And taking a look at Berkshire Hathaway stock, and it's up 13% this year, so very similar to the S&P 500. It's a solid stock that pretty much grows steadily over time, and one that does well in a bull market and does well in a bear market as well. So comparing against the S&P 500, Berkshire Hathaway's 13% this year and versus 14.7% for the S&P 500. Now, what's interesting about this purchase is that there's something very strange going on with Bill Gates and Berkshire Hathaway. As if you take a look, this quarter was added almost 30% to Berkshire, but then last quarter sold 20%. Quarter before sold 17%. Quarter before sold 14%. Quarter before added 20%. Quarter before sold 15%. Quarter before sold 13%. Quarter before sold 12%. Quarter before added 17%. So you can see where I'm going. He's just adding it, reducing it, adding it, reducing it, adding it, reducing it. So something very strange going on with Bill Gates and Berkshire Hathaway. Now, all we can do is speculate as to why he is doing this. My best guess would be something to do with tax. I'm sure it's beneficial from a tax point of view as to why he's doing this. However, if anyone knows exactly what is going on with his love-hate relationship of Berkshire, then let me know in the comments below. And then, is Mr. Gates bullish or bearish right now? Well, when we look at his latest activity, obviously he's added here, he's bought a new position here, and there's been no reducing or selling for this quarter. So Mr. Gates would be more bullish right now. Next up, we have Cathie Wood and ARK Investment Management, and together it's a portfolio of $15 billion and made up of around 200 positions. So, biggest buys and biggest sells for Cathie Wood. Well, her number one largest position is in Tesla, and it was for the quarter a 10% reduction. So, for someone who was claiming that Tesla is going to be doing a 10x over the coming years, this is a very interesting change in position. And just looking at Tesla stock, and she would have sold out in Q2, which is from April. If she's reduced beginning of April into May, then she's missed out on the massive run that then happened. And I think with interest rates going higher and higher and higher, this does affect car payments. So you'd think that Tesla would really be struggling, but obviously it's going to be one of the biggest, best companies moving forward. So it makes it very hard to know what's going to happen with the stock price. But it looks like she's missed out on this big run, unless she sold very, very late in June. Now, next, noteworthy positions. We've had big reductions in these two here, and this is Exact Sciences and Shopify. So looking at the chart for Exact Sciences and looking at Q2, which starts around here. Now, if she sold early on, again missed out on a big run that happened, so likely mistimed this one as well. And as for Shopify, again a very similar story. So I think Cathie Wood has been expecting stock prices to be going down, but I think stocks with the negative yield curve and high interest rates, but the stock market I think has surprised a lot of people in the last couple of months, although more recently just starting to roll over. Now, when it comes to more bearish or bullish, if we take a look at the 25 largest positions, then only 9 of them have been buys and 16 of them have been sells. So Cathie Wood is certainly more bearish than bullish right now. And finally, we're finishing up with a very controversial investor trader, and that is Michael Burry. And his company is Scion Asset Management. And this quarter, it's making up a $1.7 billion market value. And the positions that he has is around 30 different positions. Now, you've probably noticed that Michael Burry has been hitting the headlines recently, and that is because in true Michael Burry fashion, he's taken out 2 huge negative positions against the US stock market. His Big Short 2.0, 880 million against the S&P 500 and 740 million against the Nasdaq. So looking at the S&P 500, we'll take a bigger snapshot, a 5-year. We can see the COVID crash, a massive run where there was an enormous amount of money printing going on. We did get this bear market very close to setting new highs, and more recently has began to roll over. And so Michael Burry is betting this is close to a double top and a big crash is coming. So no two ways about it. Michael Burry is definitely in the bearish camp right now. So looking at the super investors, as a summary, what can we say? Well, I'd say more of them are bearish than bullish right now. You can see that not all of them timed the market perfectly. There's been some wins, been some losses, but in general, they do hold their positions for a longer period of time. And if you've got any questions or comments, then post them below. Cheers guys, and I'll see you in the next video.